Как ты считаешь, кто опаснее сейчас для Ислама Макхачева, Арман Царукян или Илья Тоpuria?
Мое личное мнение, не то чтобы там опасен, скажем так, более конкурентен. Я думаю, что Царукян. Я думаю, Арман посерьезнее боец, чем Топурия. Топурия хороший боец в 66, а в 70 мы его не видели. Я считаю, что Арман более конкурентоспособный для ислама, чем Топурия.
I do feel the idea of Ilia Topuria versus Islam, while that seems to make such clear sense, how do you deny an undefeated world champion? How do you deny that he's a #1 contender?
Ilia Topuria's dream fight against Islam Makhachev just hit a wall. That wall's name is Khabib Nurmagomedov. Khabib has stated that the person he believes deserves the next shot is Arman Tsarukyan. Sonnen entered the controversy, discussing that Khabib Nurmagomedov would not want an Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev bout happening anytime soon. Apart from that, Chael pointed out Khabib's importance regarding the career of Islam, with his opinion being very relevant for deciding what fights make sense. In Chael's opinion, Khabib drew a line. Topuria hasn't earned a shot at Khabib, which makes forcing that fight now compromise the competitive nature of making the division. With Khabib ruling the roost, according to Sonnen, that Topuria fight is just not an option at the moment.
It was very clear they do not, including behind the scenes, have 155 figured out yet. So when Khabib comes out and says it needs to be Tsarukyan, or moreover, and his stronger point was it's not going to be Ilia. That alone, Khabib saying it, no matter how much he meant it, will stand. Like, Khabib will not go back on that.
After vacating the featherweight title and officially leaving the 145-pound division behind, Ilia Topuria had been very vocal about wanting to fight Islam Makhachev, making his intentions clear. It was more than mere talk. He voluntarily relinquished his belt. This action suggested that his focus was now entirely directed toward fighting in the lightweight division.
Puesto, es como siempre es una pelea fácil hasta que te ponen el nombre en el contrato, ¿no? Así que todos lo sabemos. Si fuera tan fácil y si fuera tan enano como él dice, ya compartiría el octógono conmigo, ¿no? Por algo no quiere. Yo lo entiendo, así que está bien. Vete, súbete hacia arriba, no pasa nada.
Puede ser que Khabib le esté aconsejando, no te metas con Ilia que te puede ganar.
Seguramente Khabib parece ser un buen consejero. Yo quiero pelear en las 155 libras, no necesito realmente el nombre de Islam porque tampoco es que sea nada extraordinario. Si se quedara a pelear conmigo, obviamente es una pelea emocionante para todo el público.
Unlike Khabib, Cormier, and Chandler, who have spoken out against him, Topuria has not altered from his high regard for either his opponent Makhachev or the matchup itself. He sees this bout as much more than just for a title. It's going to be a test of skills. Topuria has made it clear that he will not back down. On the contrary, he will welcome it.
A hypothetical fight against Islam, how do you see that fight going? If it goes to the ground, do you feel confident that you could out-grapple him, or would you try to keep it standing?
My mindset is always the same. I'm always looking to achieve things that no one could. So someone could submit him. I will be the first one to submit him. And
any specific submission?
Now I heard some love from some idiots, but it's gonna happen.
The earlier interview between Henry Cejudo and Khabib Nurmagomedov sought to state the obvious. The very same words were repeated in the later sessions, with Khabib buttressing his earlier argument. For Khabib, it simply makes no sense to have Ilia Topuria waltz right into lightweight title contention after having not fought any opponents ranked. Topuria may be a good fighter, yet he has just come into the 155 division, argues Khabib.
I think if he move up and he beat somebody like Dustin Poirier or Charles Oliveira, he's next on the line. Why not? Because there is nobody.
So you don't think right now Ilia deserves a shot at 155 pounds?
Without fighting in 155? Without? No, I don't agree. Because Islam already give chance, and people talk bad about like, oh, he fight 2 times with Volkanovski, but the UFC push this fight, and this fight was good in first fight, but why Islam have to give 3 times chance for 145 champion? Why? it's not fair for 155 pounds.
Khabib did not belittle Topuria's talent. On the contrary, he praised it. He made no bones about saying that he respects Ilia's skill set, even declaring that, in his opinion, Topuria will eventually beat the top contenders in the division, including ex-champion Charles Oliveira. However, as far as Khabib is concerned, that's the point. Topuria should prove his mettle by going through the names if he is that good.
It's not fair for 155 pounds.
Right.
But if he move up and he beat somebody like Charles Oliveira, of course.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
And I think, you know what I think?
Yeah.
I think he can beat him.
Yeah.
I think he can beat him.
I like Charles, but I think so too.
No, I think Ilia can beat him.
Michael Chandler also backed the position of Khabib, agreeing with the assertion that Ilia Topuria must earn his shot at the lightweight title by first fighting and defeating all the top contenders. Chandler noted Topuria's exceptional skills and buzz surrounding him, but pointed out that lightweight is perhaps the deepest and most competitive division in the entire sport. Just walking into a title fight without the requisite pit stops against ranked opponents shows little reflection on these top-tier lightweights' grind.
The dude is absolutely skilled, and more importantly, he believes in himself. So I don't know. I mean, I could go either way. I could say you could put him up against a Gamrot or a Arman, who's not a great striker, more of a grappler, or you could put him up against a Gaethje and Oliveira, who's got great striking.
Khabib further stressed that there are now far more deserving candidates in the lightweight division than Ilia Topuria to challenge for the title. Guys who have fought and proven themselves against top competition in the division. For Khabib, it's not about hype or popularity, it's about merit. He therefore firmly believes that Islam Makhachev should face challengers who would build his legacy, not unnecessarily jeopardize it.
Исламу тоже немного осталось. Если так посмотреть, Исламу скоро 34 будет. Но Ислам тоже хочет драться не с Топурией и с Волконовской, или который вышел на замену с Майканом. Ислам хочет драться с большими именами, которые заслуживают, который давно уже в 70 килограмм.
With respect to possible contenders, Chael Sonnen offered his own elder statesman advice, nominating Arman Tsarukyan as the best logical and warranted next fight for Islam Makhachev. Sonnen endorsed Arman's recent results, specifically his means of dominating quality competition through inescapable pressure and good all-around grappling. For Chael, this fight is a much better matchup competitively and legacy-wise, a newcomer looking to rise to the top against a current kingpin seeking to solidify his supremacy over the next generation. He further reiterated the fact that once Khabib gave his word that the fight won't happen, it's basically written on stone. The Topuria fight will not happen.
Because of that, in terms of legacy, for Islam, for his resume, I understand Islam's risks. In my opinion, this isn't necessarily a more dangerous fight. Let's say more competitive. I think it's Tsarukyan. I think Arman Tsarukyan is a more serious fighter than Topuria. Topuria is a good fighter at 145. But we've never seen him at 155. I believe Arum is more competitive for Islam. Even if it wasn't Khabib giving his word, and I don't think that was Khabib giving his word. I believe that was Khabib giving his opinion. But once it gets printed and once it comes out, and as soon as it looks as though it's Khabib's word, there is no punishment large enough that those guys would go back on it. You could threaten to strip him. You could threaten to release him. There is nothing you can do that is larger to Khabib in this life than maintaining his word.
Meanwhile, Arman Tsarukyan has been open in expressing his wishes to face Islam Makhachev, explicitly stating he's ready for the title opportunity, having fought his way up through the lightweight ranks and obtained resounding victories against the best opposition. Arman feels that he's accomplished quite enough to qualify as next in line. He's stated outright confidence in his capacity to take on Islam, saying he has the tools, attitude, and momentum to give the current champion a serious challenge. For Arman, it's not merely another bout, it's the one he's worked so hard for, and he's going to make it matter. However, Arman Tsarukyan also seems to be embroiled in a simmering rivalry with Paddy Pimblett, which has only gained steam recently online and in fans' perception. Complicating the situation is the word going around that Arman might have rejected a last-minute chance to face Islam Makhachev, prompting some to question whether or not he is ready for the title fight.
Yeah, the Cena's response, it tickled me, made me laugh. It's just being honest, you know what I mean? I'm just brutally honest, I can't lie. If someone ever get asked about someone, I'm gonna be honest. I seen him say in an interview the other week that I don't watch anybody not in the top 5. I won't watch Chandler and Pimlet. Well, what are you tweeting me for then? You know what I mean? If you weren't concerned about people who aren't in the top 5, you wouldn't be tweeting me when I've said something about you. Like, people who say stuff about me, what are beneath me, I don't mention it, I just leave them to it. But, you know, I must be in his head. It's not my fault he shit his pants.
Bilal Muhammad has also joined the discussion as the next possible foe for Islam Makhachev, particularly with discussions of Islam potentially returning to the welterweight division. In a previous interview with Henry Cejudo, Khabib spoke about this bout directly. He recognized Bilal's consistency and impressive unbeaten record, but made it apparent that any transition to 170 has to be tactical.
I understand your question.
Brother, I go championship belt.
If they ask me to fight with Bilal, like when I was active fighter, no. But for example, like Bilal and Islam, okay, you have to talk with them. You have to talk with them because.
So you don't care. You don't care if they fight or not. I mean, you're okay with them fighting if that happens. It's okay, brother. Like I get it, man.
My heart, not okay.
Yeah.
My heart not okay.
Like,
it's gonna be hard
so you're gonna
Islam to beat Bilal.
Yeah.
Justin Gaethje has also gotten into the mix of things himself. He has pretty much ensured that his name will be amongst those considered when title shots come round for the lightweight championship. In competition after competition, with his numerous intense performances and several wins over the division's top-ranking fighters, Gaethje feels he has more than earned the opportunity. For years now, he has hung around at the top of the division, facing one of the toughest matchups in the game almost every time.
One of those 3 names has to fight for the belt. Me, Oliveira, or Topuria. So I'm hoping they call my name, pull my number, pull my card. Outside that, I haven't even thought about it. I'm hoping that's the case.
Are you willing to fight one of those guys if it guarantees the title shot?
I'm sure, yeah, we'll see. I don't know what I'm willing to do or where we're at with my career. It's a big business that we're running. Not the beginning no more, you know, I think I've earned my shot. I would love to get that. And but we'll see what we have to do.
As far as Daniel Cormier is concerned, he is also becoming a part of what Khabib said. It emphasizes that a match with Ilia Topuria is of little worth to Islam Makhachev's legacy. From DC's point of view, it's a lose-lose situation for Islam. If he wins, they'll say he only beat a former featherweight who has never done anything in the lightweight division. If he somehow lost, it would be a huge setback. Phenomenal.
For Makhachev, he goes and beats Ilia Topuria, right? People will say he beat Volk, he beat Ilia Topuria, he beat Charles Oliveira, and he beat Renato Moicano. Seems pretty good. That's 5 title fight wins. But in that, it would say, well, he's defended the belt 3 times against featherweights. Because at the end of the day, guys, it doesn't matter what you do or in high regard you hold someone. The fact that he was the champion in the lower weight class is what's going to be pointed to the moment Islam beats him. Because anytime you have a dominant champ, anytime, you look for reasons to discredit them. Happens all the time.
Adding another level to the discussion, former flyweight champion Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson concurred with Khabib's opinion on Islam needing to make intelligent legacy moves, but pushed it a bit further, in favor of the sentiment that competing against Ilia Topuria doesn't do much for Islam's legacy. Mighty Mouse provided a more interesting avenue. He thinks Islam should think about moving up to welterweight.
I gotta ask you about this 155 division. Who would you give Islam Makhachev?
I'm really high on the 155-pound division with Ilia Topuria, Islam Makhachev, Charles Oliveira, Arman Tsarukyan. I'll put Islam Makhachev on ice and see what happens in this 170-pound division with Jack Mandela versus Bilal Muhammad. If Jack is able to get past Bilal Muhammad, I think you give Islam Makhachev the opportunity to go up to be a double champ. But when you look at the 155-pound division, Islam has pretty much cleared that out. You also have, you know, the newcomer Ilia Topuria, and I would like to see him be tested at 155. I know a lot of people think he should get an immediate title shot, but I think, you know, right now just have him versus Arman Tsarukyan.
Being on this topic, Islam Makhachev shows enthusiasm toward the aspect of crossing into the welterweight division. He echoes the take that was originally given by Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson. He admitted that moving to 170 can bring new opportunities and challenges to cement his legacy.
Yeah, I know people understand, because for the lightweight belt, I can be champion many years before, but the all fighters, I think run for me, you know. I always, on all my career, have problem. Fight someone from top 10, top 5, they're all high, but people understand, and all UFC or MMA fans understand my skills. My style is a worst style for everybody. I can be 2 division champion, and I'm waiting for this chance.
Brendan Schaub presented a different viewpoint on the possibility of Islam Makhachev stepping up to welterweight. In Schaub's opinion, there is still much left for Islam to achieve in the 155-pound weight class. He contended that lightweight is one of the deepest and most competitive divisions in MMA, complete with hungry contenders who can really push the reigning champion. For Schaub, rushing to 170 might leave business on the table.
Now, when it comes to pound for pound in your division, I look at strength of schedule. I look at who have you beat, how have you beat them. Islam's strength of schedule, when we're talking about, if you look at the pound for pound list, the top 5, has by far the easiest strength of schedule. He's not my pound for pound number 1. I'll be very clear. Not my king, not bend the knee, dude. Refute, cut my head off. Cut my head off. Not hating on Islam. I know you guys are gonna run with that. I'm not doing that. I'm not hating on him. There's nothing he can do about it. It's not his fault. He fights whoever's in front of him. But for his management, whoever's telling this, dude, let's jump to 70. Buddy, you have so much work to do at 55. You have a lot to do at 55 before we bend the knee. And Arman's going to give you a mother. And I would favor Arman after watching his last 3 or 4 performances. I would favor Arman.
If you like the breakdown, be sure to like and subscribe for more real talk fight analysis. No nonsense, just facts. Share your ideas in the comments. Your thoughts on who should be Islam Makhachev's next opponent. Tsarukyan, Gaethje, or another name. We'll be watching closely as it plays out. Stay sharp, stay tuned.